Welcome to the MGS Podcast, your one-stop shop for movies, games, and sports. My name is Jake, here always with my honey butter biscuit, Paul. How you doing, Paul?
Good.
Do you know why I called you that?
No, tell me.
Those are my favorite biscuits.
Are they?
Like, you get the like flaky ones, the honey butter ones.
Okay, so let me ask you, where's your favorite biscuit from?
Are you talking about like a
rolls?
restaurant?
Yeah.
It's a tie between Texas Roadhouse.
Yes! Oh my god,
the
I love
butter
you say
rolls,
that. Oh, they're phenomenal.
And then Red Lobster's cheesy biscuits.
Holy fat, dude. I am now dreaming
Dude,
about
I hate going to Texas Roadhouse because it's like they purposely fill you up on the rolls before you get any food. Like, we'll go through 8 baskets of rolls, of the butter rolls, before we even get our
And it's
food.
one of those, like, where it's like, you know, if there's one more in the basket and somebody's like, you can have that one. Okay, it's mine.
No, it's mine anyway.
Why did you even ask if I wanted it?
So we're actually going to mix things up quite a bit today. We have no talking points for this podcast.
Freestyle.
Not that you guys actually know, but usually we have a set of talking points that we go over just to remind ourselves of what's going on, because we're both dumb sometimes and we forget.
Dumb.
So we wanted to mix things up. What'd you say?
Really, really dumb.
Oh, I thought you insulted my mother. So we wanted to mix things up a little bit, and we wanted to just completely wing it. But we'll start things off as normal. I went and saw Sonic on Sunday. Paul didn't come, even though, do you guys remember last week on the podcast when he's like, oh, what, you're not going to invite me? And I told him we had an extra ticket. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll come. And he didn't come. He didn't come.
I hate my life.
Sonic 2 was actually phenomenal. I really enjoyed it. My son was literally, it started and he's like, Sonic 2, Sonic 2. And I'm like, shut up, you're embarrassing me.
Does he sit on the edge of his seat like you do?
He did a few times,
oh,
yeah.
Awesome. All right,
yeah.
Good. As long as I know that's trends falling down the family.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is, so there's a post-credit scene, which, spoiler alert, fast forward a minute if you don't want to hear a spoiler about Sonic. But in the post-credit scene, it shows Shadow, which
you called?
I called. And there was a grown-ass man in that theater that's like, yes!
We're getting Shadow started!
We're getting Shadow! This is crazy! And, like, he was more excited than, like, me finding out that, like, The Force Awakens was coming out. It was pretty sad. But, hey, sir, if you're watching this someday, power to you for having a passion, you know? It was funny, though.
At least he wasn't disappointed, you know?
That's true. I mean, he might have been with the movie overall, but then he saw that Shadow was going to be in it, and
he completely forgot about all the parts that he didn't like. You know?
And obviously they're going to be doing a Sonic 3. I'm a little curious on what they're going to do with Dr. Robotnik since Jim Carrey has retired.
So, but if he's retired, do you know that he's completely retiring from, or will he still do like cameos and those type of things? You know, because just maybe he's not going to pick up any more roles going in the future, like starting another series or doing another huge movie besides like what he's already invested into.
He'll finish off Sonic.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, right before you started saying that, I took a really deep breath and I was about to exhale it, but like I felt it was gonna be like one of those obnoxious exhales, so I'm just like and I held it in.
Pass out on the
couch. So to move into what we're actually going to talk about today, for movies, we're actually going to be talking about our favorite war movie, I guess you could say. We both have one standout favorite, and then we have a few, honorable mentions. For gaming, we're going to be talking about what was our most disappointing game that we played. And believe it or not, it is not Battlefield 2042 for either of us.
Yeah.
And for sports, I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. We will talk about
just hang on for the ride, because it's about to get weird.
It's gonna be fun. I'm actually excited. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, as you can tell, we're already all over the place, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, I have a feeling by the end of this podcast, though, half of it is gonna be bleep, 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 bleep.
And you guys are going to be watching it in and be like, what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah. By the way, I want everyone's opinion on something. So when Paul first arrived at my house, I showed him my new Vans right away. Didn't even care.
Not true.
He didn't even care.
That's a completely false statement.
On that note, let's move into our movie segment.
Let's do it.
right, so to kick things off, I'm actually going to let Paul start and tell us what his favorite war movie is.
So I have like a top three, and I have a couple honorable mentions. So should I start with my favorite one first, or work my honorable mentions and then work my way down?
I say start with the honorable mentions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, One of my favorite like honorable mentions that I'm gonna say, which I don't think a lot of people liked, but I actually saw this in the movie theater and I thought it was really good, but which is Battle Los Angeles.
Oh my lord. Battle Los Angeles is amazing.
Dude, I was like blown away by that movie.
I'm
It wasn't
actually
even
so happy that you brought that up because I forgot about it, and that's literally one of my top 10 favorite movies.
really.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, I loved it. And it's one of those movies like we talked about last week, or maybe it was the week before, where you can't like judge a movie based on the reviews that it gets.
because it got terrible
Yeah, it
reviews.
didn't
Yeah.
get great reviews, but I literally saw it twice in the movie theater. Like I went one time and then I went back and saw it again with my brother. And it was like it was just done amazing. Like, there was just a lot of action in it, and I just thought it was really cool. So that's one of my honorable mentions, and I won't do more than that.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get into our favorite topics. But yeah, Battle Los Angeles was an amazing movie.
Well,
Did you cry? Did you almost cry in that part where he's like going down and like naming
yeah, all the
all the
social security numbers of the
yeah,
people
all
that
the
he
people,
lost.
and then it's like he gets to his brother,
Dude, first of
and
all,
it's like, oh,
first of
dude,
all,
this is
I'm a
deep, bro.
baby. I cry like in cars.
I almost cried at
When
the end,
Lightning
and
McQueen gets stuck, I'm
I
like,
almost cried in the end of
Lightning, you
Encanto,
can do this. Oh yeah,
dude. When they're like
yeah.
giving her the handle, it's like they're singing that song, and I'm just like, oh my god.
This is touching.
I
And
tell my wife every time we put the
yeah,
music video for my daughter, and I'm like, hold on, babe, I'm about to get teary
so
out here.
so to touch very briefly on Battle Los Angeles, to this day, at least once a month, I check to see if they're doing a sequel yet. Because the original director said he is open to doing a sequel.
Dude, it was
I
awesome.
don't think it's ever gonna happen because that had to come out what 10 years ago now.
Yeah, close to it because it was
Yeah,
before Jazz and I got together. So yeah.
yeah. So yeah, but that okay. Anyway, next honorable mention.
Well, no, I'm not gonna do any more. I'm just gonna move in my top three now,
Okay.
because I know you'll have an honorable mention. I want to drag it out too long. Um, so my third movie is gonna be Black Hawk Down. Um,
He stole that from me.
but the problem is you got so many great war movies that
But there's always standouts.
right, and
In Black Hawk Down is a standout.
right, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, if it doesn't fall in your top three, you got to be kind of not a war hero, a war.
There's a lot of people that aren't war heroes.
Yeah, like
You must not be a war hero if
I mean,
Black
like
Hawk Down
a
is
war movie, I don't know why I said war hero, so just
because
whatever.
you're stupid, Paul.
We talked about how dumb we are. So
Well, the cast in that movie, people don't think about it a lot, but I mean that's where Obi-Wan Kenobi got his start. Ewan McGregor got his start there. Tom Hardy,
or Train Spotting
yeah,
is where he probably got
yeah,
start from.
no,
It's
it's
an older
Black Hawk
movie than
Down,
that.
and Tom Hardy was very small part. I think Tom Hardy was the one who fell out of the helicopter.
Oh, he was the sniper where the snipers had to end up taking over that whole territory, and the two snipers were like holding it down in the down Black Hawk. You know what I'm talking
No, that was later on.
about? Oh, okay.
No, at the very beginning when they're like rappelling from the helicopters, one guy falls and then they have to drag him away.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
Tom
Okay,
Hardy.
okay.
I'm
I know
pretty
what you're
sure.
talking
Yeah,
about.
but Black Hawk Down. Yeah,
Yeah, Black Hawk Down.
that's a good number
Phenomenal
three.
movie. It was a longer movie, and
It's very long.
there was just a ton of action, and it just kept you engaged kind of the whole time. Kind of giving you like a realistic idea of what a war scene is like in real life.
Yeah.
Just the way they did it was phenomenal. I really enjoyed that one. My number two is 13 Hours, which we've talked about
I was
before.
expecting that to be number one, but okay, 13 hours.
13 Hours. The Benghazi story. We talked about that last week when we were talking about the actors, and then
Yeah, because we were talking about Pablo Schreiber
right,
in
who's
Halo,
and then John Krasinski, who just like, I mean, can we just say like came out of nowhere from The Office to like doing these action movies,
yeah,
and
it's because he grew a beard.
yeah, and
That's all
that
you got to
changes
do.
the whole
Well,
aspect of a human being.
he did Jack Ryan on
Well,
Prime.
that's what I was gonna.
Yeah.
That's what I was leading into. Is like, and then he started doing Jack Ryan, and I love the Jack Ryan series on
Yep.
Amazon. Phenomenal, and I think they're getting ready to come out with the third
They are.
season later this year. So excited for that. But yeah, he was incredible in that movie. Just the emotion that he can put into his characters and like
Yeah.
really kind of make you feel for that, is awesome.
I'm not
Um,
saying I grew a beard to look like John Krasinski. Not gonna deny it either.
yeah.
I could never look like John Krasinski. Who are we kidding?
He might be taller than you. They make him seem like he's pretty tall.
I don't know, man. I'm 6'2".
How tall do you think
Do
he
we
is?
have him here?
He's got to be. Yeah, there he is, right there.
Keep them occupied. Keep
But
them
yeah, so
occupied.
modern day and age war movie, and just a lot of action in that
Oh,
as
he is taller than me.
was he 6'5"?
He's 6'3".
Oh wow,
I'm six
that's
two. So
I thought he was a little bit taller than that, to be honest with you. But yeah, like so he's done a lot of great things, and then Pablo, who's doing Master Chief now, played a great role in that as well. And like I said, he was more of a little not obviously there's not too much comedy in the movie, but he does play a little bit more of a comedian in it, and just a little bit funny and more nonchalant than a lot of the other guys. But yeah, great movie. Definitely my number two, and then my number one, which I mean, just the opening scene on
ants.
Ants. Yeah, you're right. Is Saving Private Ryan, and the way they opened up that movie on D-Day on the beach was just
Well,
absolutely crazy.
I remember reading this article about people who were on Normandy Beach watching that movie and just breaking down into
Oh,
tears
dude,
at how realistic it was.
I couldn't imagine that if you were a part of World War II and you were a part of any of that, that wouldn't bring emotions
Yeah,
and kind of like flashbacks and having some kind of
dude, that was just Normandy Beach is just sad. Like it's bizarre to think of where we've come in terms of like rules of war and rules of engagement because I don't think you'd ever see a Normandy Beach happen again. No other D-days where you just got thousands of troops storming a beach just getting absolutely annihilated by mounted machine guns from the German forces and man, that's a Saving Private. We'll get back to the actual movie.
I was
Um
getting a little teary eyed there, to be
yeah, I
honest
mean
with you.
Forrest Gump,
Yeah,
Tom Hanks was amazing in it.
a lot of good actors in that. Adam Goldberg was in it as well. And like it's funny is like um we're always playing like video games, and someone will say someone's up in the bell tower, and the first thing I think of is Saving Private Ryan. So like that sniper scene
Yeah.
where the sniper's up in the bell tower, and then you see
And he
him
got the
just scope
tank
him
though.
right through
Oh
the
yeah,
scope
through
and
the
just
scope,
dome
yeah.
that dude, and it
And
was
then the
like,
tank kills
what
him.
a sweet, yeah, that was at the
Yeah.
very end.
Yeah, I know.
There was another one in a small German town that they were in, where he popped this guy right through the scope.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a phenomenal movie, and like to get that whole like experience of what it was like and what these guys went through, like
Yeah.
to go through that is absolutely crazy. And then they broke off and did some things the same. I think Tom Hanks was a part of directing it, um, but was Band of Brothers,
Yeah.
which was like a more long version of Saving Private Ryan on other
Hmm.
parts of aspects of World War II, all the way from training camp to the end of the war, which
Yeah, Band
was
of Brothers was good.
phenomenal. And then they had the Pacific as well, which was another cool one. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, Saving Private Ryan, my number one, for sure. I absolutely love that movie. If I see it come on TV, I won't watch it on TV because the commercials make it like a 5 hour movie, but I'll go and try to find it somewhere to
Yeah.
stream just to watch it. Um, and same thing with 13 Hours, to be honest. If I see that and it just something reminds me of it, I'll go watch it.
I've watched 13 Hours a lot as like a
Yeah.
background movie too. Like if
Oh
I'm
yeah.
doing something, I'll put it on in the background.
Yeah. It was
Um,
both of those movies were done very well. I really, really enjoyed both of those, and definitely, like I said, favorite is definitely Saving Private Ryan.
yeah, okay. So people are about to find
And
out
you
why
don't
we're
have to be a
best
war
friends.
hero to watch it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you don't. You don't. I mean, maybe in Call of Duty. You better have prestige at least once in Call of Duty.
So bad.
Well,
Can we delete that out?
no. So people are about to find out why we're best friends. So we're not going to have to talk a lot during my. I'll do an honorable mention, and then I'll do a top three. Battle Los Angeles, honorable mention, because I completely forgot about it until you saw that, and I just heard some obnoxious person in a muscle car drive by. But Battle Los Angeles was phenomenal. I loved everything about that movie. I don't think there was a single thing I disliked about that movie, with the exception of every movie that you see and you're like, why are you doing that? Stop. No, don't go. Oh my lord. And you just get frustrated because they're doing stupid stuff. Number three, Black Hawk Down. So don't have to talk much about that either. Just like Paul was saying, it was a phenomenal movie. It was a long movie. They made you feel engaged. I think all of our top movies just made you feel so engaged and invested in the story that was being told. Number two for me,
You
Saving
do
Private
gotta say,
Ryan.
like with Black Hawk Down, like I try to leave some of it out for you if you wanted to talk about it, but like because there's so many actors in it. But do you remember Vin Diesel was in that movie as well?
In Black Hawk Down?
Yeah. No, sorry.
Yeah, you're a liar.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Different movie.
Wow. What movie are you thinking of? That's Fast and the Furious, Paul. I know it seems like it's a war movie, but they're not war movies, believe it or not. So, Saving Private Ryan, you guys watch all of our podcasts and pay attention to how many times this dude rudely interrupts me while I'm talking. So, Saving Private Ryan is my number two. Another honorable mention, though, is 13 Hours. I thought that movie was phenomenal in every way. Um, but my number one, which, I'll jump to that right away since we already talked about all the other stuff.
American Sniper.
It's American Sniper. No, it's not. It's a Netflix original that came out, I believe, in 2019, starring Thor himself, Chris Hemsworth. Extraction. Now, Extraction isn't necessarily a war movie. It's an action movie about a guy who's essentially a bounty hunter, and he has to go rescue this drug lord's kid, and it just turns into one of the most incredible movies that I've ever seen. And you talk about crying. Man, I cried at the end of that movie.
Bridge scene.
Yeah, don't spoil for people that might not have seen it though.
It's been
What
out
the
for 2
hell?
years.
I don't care. There's a lot of people that don't have Netflix and have never heard. Oh, what is this Netflix original movie that they're talking
Go
about?
get an illegal streaming service. I did.
Yeah, I gave it to you, and it's legal. I don't know what you're talking about. It's legal. But so it's got Chris Hemsworth in it. He's I want to watch Extraction now. I'm not gonna lie, but the sound effects are just on point. The choreography for the fight scenes. There's a few very extended, hand to hand combat scenes. The choreography is absolutely amazing. It's got the guy from Stranger Things plays the sheriff.
Oh yeah, I forget his name, but I know who you're talking
We're about
about.
to find out right here.
I forgot he was in.
Of course, none of the pictures. I'm assuming it's this guy, right? No, it's not that guy. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I? Anyway, yeah, it's got the guy who plays the sheriff. He's another one of the bounty hunters who, at one point, Chris Hemsworth meets up with in the movie, and then they get into a little scuffle.
Is that your scuffle?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Pretty good.
But
I won't judge.
honestly, though, if you if you haven't seen Extraction on Netflix, go check it out. They are working on a sequel currently. Same directors. Some of the same cast is returning. I won't say who's returning, but some of the same cast is returning.
Yeah, Liam Hemsworth is going to come in.
Yeah, Liam Hemsworth is coming into play. It's actually a story about how him and Miley broke up and how he got extracted from that
He wouldn't
relationship.
let her be
I
himself.
came in like a wrecking ball. I hate Miley Cyrus so much. People think she has talent, which is what irritates me so
She
much.
has what?
Talent? Oh, did my accent come out? I'm so sorry. I'm from Wisconsin, people. I say some A's weird, all right?
Talent.
Talent. You know what? I'm so sick of you. Like I'm just ready to move on to the gaming segment.
Hey.
I don't even want to talk to you anymore.
Nothing wrong here, eh?
No. Oh. Didn't see you there. Sorry, pal. But,
A liter of cola?
So just first, that's Super Troopers. They're not even
I
in
know,
Wisconsin.
but Northern say cola. Like
No. It depends on what part of Wisconsin you're from. And no, none of us say cola. That's a Southern thing. We
no,
say
it's
pop.
not. Oh, well, maybe.
Maybe I'm from there, bro.
We don't say cola down here.
I know a
You
lot
don't
of.
even know what you say.
I know a lot of Southerners who say they'll be asking for a Mountain Dew. Yeah, give me yellow cola. Like, what? It's a Mountain Dew, you
Yellow.
stupid prick.
Could have been mellow yellow.
No,
Could have
nobody
been
drinks Mellow
Surge.
Yellow. You.
You remember
I
that?
remember
There
Surge.
was so
Yeah,
much sugar in
dude,
that.
it was so cheap in the vending machines too. I think it was a quarter when I was younger. So
Yeah,
like,
for the can.
yeah, so we drank a lot of Surge and RC Cola,
RC
Royal
Cola.
Crown Cola.
Crown Royal in here?
Why are you getting us off topic
I'm
again? We're
sorry.
gonna move on to our gaming segment. I hope you enjoyed the movies though. Go check them out.
So funny thing. So you said mudda trucka. Let me tell you a funny story. When we were like in high school, we used to go around and I used to say mudda sucka all the time. So I'd be like, man, you's a mudda sucka. And I'd say it all the time. And my mom caught on to it and started saying mudda sucka. So my mom would say around the house, like, you mudda sucka. And one day she was at work and she was talking to this lady and she's like, you're a mudda sucka. She's like, what'd you say? And she's like, mudda sucka. And she goes, she's like,
Mudasaka?
Kathy, do you know what you're saying? And she's like, I don't know. My son says it all the time. And she goes, mudda sucka, mother fucker. And she's like, oh my God, have I been saying that? And she's like, yes, that's what that means. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. And it was the funniest thing ever. So my mom immediately came home that afternoon and I said something, we were at dinner and I was like, you mother sucker. She's like, you do not say that in this house anymore. And I was like, what you've been saying? She's like, I found out what that meant today at work. And I was like, oh my
You
God.
Mudasaka.
It was so
Oh
funny,
man.
dude.
Okay, so that just made me think of a story that I have to quick tell you. So you have brothers. You used to have pillow
Two?
fights.
Oh yeah.
So my brother, he was an asshole with pillow fights. Cause you know me, I'd take my pillow, I'd hit someone with it, right? Gentle, soft. It's a pillow. It's fun.
You don't hit people soft
LOL.
in pillow fights.
I mean, you hit them hard, but with a soft pillow. But my brother, he'd fold the pillow in the pillowcase. So it was like a boulder.
I thought you were gonna say like put toys in it or something.
No, so one
That was
day
evil.
he's like, we're having this like massive pillow fight, and he's waiting in my sister's room for me to come in, and he's like right around the corner, and he's just gonna whale me
Right in the face.
as I'm coming in the gut, right as I'm coming through, right? So I don't know where he is, and I'm kind of looking for him, and then all of a sudden I hear, "Oh!" He got my mom. She walked in the room, in my sister's room, to grab something and got nailed in the stomach by my brother.
I guess it was good that it wasn't the face then. Jesus. Did your
So-
mom beat his ass? Because I feel like she would like whoop his ass.
No, I don't think so. No, I mean my mom was. I mean she let us play Conker's Bad for a day, so she was a pretty forgiving
You know,
sweetheart of a
one
woman.
of these times you're gonna have to tell the BB gun story.
With the SWAT team.
Yeah.
I will. You know.
Welcome back to the MGS podcast, your one-stop shop for movies, games, and sports. Moving in here to our second segment, which is going to be games. And again, like we said, we're kind of winging this stuff today.
Yep.
So we're going to have some interesting topics here. But we're going to kick it off here with our most disappointed game launches for video games. So I'm going to let Jake start here in this portion of our segment and let him kick it off.
So to start things off, let us know, what is your most disappointing game? Out of every game you've ever played, every game you've been just amped up to play or to try, what were you most disappointed by? Leave it in the comments. And while you're like by the comment section, right above that, you'll see like and subscribe. Click those too. So to kick things off, most disappointing game of all time for me. And this is because the potential of the game just how amazing it was to play the game. Anthem. Paul has never even heard of Anthem until today.
That's a lie. That's a
He's
lie.
don't listen to him.
I've heard
He's
of the
never honest.
game. I just didn't play the game. But it
So
sounds like good reason I didn't play it. So it's that
you
disappointing.
were missing out because it was an amazing game. But the problem is you would have fell in love with the game that you were given just to be shot through the heart, thrown down a garbage disposal, put into ground beef, slammed into a patty, and cooked for
What is
Leroy
this, a
Jenkins.
slaughterhouse?
That's what it felt like being at the end of Anthem's life.
Wow,
So Anthem
it's
was
terrible.
an attempt by EA and I believe BioWare to do a looter shooter similar to Destiny.
What came out? What year did Anthem come out?
Like 4 years ago.
Okay,
So
so Destiny
long
was,
after
yeah,
Destiny,
okay.
yeah.
All
So
right, cool.
Destiny was already an established, successful game, and then Anthem, they wanted to do their own formula for a looter shooter. And now, so picture Destiny with a little bit of Titanfall, plus you can literally fly around the map like Iron Man. And what's funny is the Marvel Avengers game that came out where you can actually literally fly around the map as Iron Man. The flying mechanics in that are trash compared to Anthem.
Really?
Like, why they didn't just copy and paste Anthem's flying mechanics?
Probably
Blows
because
my.
it's not as high as a.
Well, it's also
They probably
different
didn't have the same
developers, and
budgets as
you're
as
right. They
Anthem.
had more. It's an Avengers game.
Yeah, but come on, let's be
This guy,
serious.
yeah, that was made by Square Enix, so yeah, they wouldn't have had as much money as EA did. But yeah, so looter shooter, fly around like Iron Man. There were a few different classes, similar to a lot of mini RPG games or MMO games where you have different classes that have different types of abilities. You've got there's always a tank class, your big guy that's just going to bum rush everybody. Then you've always got your middle class that's a little bit of both, and then you've got your quick people. In Destiny, you'd refer to those as your Titans, Warlocks, and Hunters. So they had a similar class system to that. You had fully customizable armor. I mean, you could paint every little section of your armor a different color, which was one of the most fun things to
Did
do.
you paint it like Iron Man?
At one point, yeah.
Yeah.
At one
So
point,
you
my guy
have to if
looked,
you're
yeah.
flying around like him.
At
Yeah.
one point, my guy looked almost exactly like Iron Man. Towards the end, I had like white and chrome
Oh,
armor
that's kind
though.
of dope.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But it was a massive map. You got to fly around. You could kill these little ads. A lot of people don't know what ads means. Is NPCs,
Yeah, they
little.
pop up all the time when I'm watching
You're
TV.
so dumb. So it's the easy enemies to fight are your
You're
ads.
such a dick, bro.
I know. So there were titans in the game. You'd literally come across these just monstrosity of creatures that could just destroy you. But it was just so much fun to play, especially with a team. I remember when the beta came out, myself and the California people, we were literally in awe. And I think I can honestly say I had never to this day had as much fun playing a multiplayer game as I did during that beta.
Well, I mean, I do have to say, like the graphics on the game looked astonishing. Like it
Yeah,
looked incredible.
you would think
Like
it came out 3 years from now,
yeah, and
in
like
2025.
I remember even asking you, I was like, "Yo, is this like PC content that we're watching?" Like, no, this is like from the Xbox.
Yeah,
Like, and it's crazy how good the graphics are.
yeah.
So you'd think just from that, like, the game would be, you know, done properly, or
You
there
would
was a
think,
lot of
yeah,
content being built for it. But I was blown away when we were watching some of the gameplay on
yeah.
it, and it was like, holy crap, man, this is
And
sweet.
you mentioned content, and that's what ended up being the knife in the chest. We were promised all kinds of content that never came. To compare it to Destiny some more, because that was what it was trying to rival. We were supposed to get in-game raids, never happened. We were supposed to get in-game dungeons. We kind of had a few dungeon-like things at launch. I think there was one more that was added. That's it. There were like
I just
6 total guns,
piss people off that you pay for like a premium version of a game
which
to
I
get
did.
this
Yeah.
stuff, and then it's like, well, we're actually just gonna discontinue, making any more content for this game. So thanks for paying.
Well, and that was knife number two. We got the knife in the chest, right? But then BioWare and EA are like, look, we messed up. We're admitting it. They don't do that often. They admitted it. We're going to revamp this entire game. We're going to give you guys Anthem 2.0. It was kind of like what No Man's Sky did. No Man's Sky came out and it was a disaster. That was an honorable mention of mine. It was a disaster. They were sued for false advertisement, but then they came out with No Man's Sky 2.0. Phenomenal. They brought that game back to life. So everyone was excited for Anthem 2.0. Myself and all my California friends who were diehard Anthem people for the entire 10 hours of content that was available in the game. And then EA's like, nah, sorry, BioWare, you
Again.
got to cancel it. We're not doing Anthem 2.0. And we were all just left in the dust. And I was talking to Paul about this earlier. One thing I didn't think of is, myself and a lot of my friends, we bought the Ultimate Editions, which were supposed to give us certain content that we never got. So how there isn't a class action lawsuit to get people refunds for this? I paid $100 for that game. And they just killed it. And to this day, it breaks my gaming heart because I think that game had the potential to be the best multiplayer game ever. Like, if that game would have taken off the way that Destiny did, I probably would have stopped playing Battlefield.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
now that you kind of bring that up, I mean, this is not my game of disappointments, even though there's a lot of disappointment in it. But that's what scares me with Battlefield, man. Like, if EA's done this before, I'm afraid they're going to shut down content for Battlefield
Yeah.
2042 and just kind of be like, hey, here's a little bit of content that we promised, and now we're done, revamping this game.
The only thing saving us from that is the Battlefield fan base, because obviously Anthem didn't have a fan base going into
the game anymore.
Yeah, their Steam chart just dropped below 1,000.
Yeah, I saw that today. I was like, dude, this is crazy. Like, so what's the motive to wanting to even do more if there's no one even playing the game? I mean, maybe to draw people back in and be like, hey, we messed up. We're going to fix this. Like, we're going to get this going right. But at this point, I don't think anybody's going to pick it back up and be like, well,
no. Battlefield 2042 it's dead.
Yeah.
It's dead. I'll still have fun playing it, so it doesn't pain me to say it that much. I'm gonna be sad about the content we're missing out on, but it's dead. But there's a reason that EA was voted 2 years consecutively as the worst company in America. They're studio killers. BioWare was a phenomenal studio who put out phenomenal games, and Anthem was going to be. I have full confidence that team for Anthem 2.0 was going to give us the game that we all wanted Anthem to be, and then they killed it. And I hope someday they bring it back because I was telling Paul, just talking about Anthem prior to us starting the podcast, I want to play it again. Like I told Paul, we could get 10 to 15 hours of gameplay where we are just having a ton of fun playing this game.
I just want to play for the graphics.
Yeah,
they look incredible.
So let's play it.
Yeah,
seriously,
I'm down to hop on there and let's do some co-op.
Because if you have Game Pass, it's free with EA Play. So again, don't try not to get too hooked in your heart on it because it is dead. Nobody's playing it. They're not doing any more content. You can jump on and play some co-op though.
It's we were mentioning, EA, kind of killing games, but I think we can say we've been waiting for a Star Wars game to be done right for a very long time, and now EA is giving those rights to other companies to be able to go out and do something.
Yeah, more like LucasArts is like, son of a, how dare you mess up our franchise? Let's let other people try. Although they did save Battlefront 2 towards the end. When it launched, it was completely pay to win. You just had to buy upgrade cards for your characters, and you could have the best Darth Vader in the game. Yeah. But at the end of that game's life cycle, I cherished it. I loved playing that game. Yeah. I know you kind of stopped playing it after a while.
A lot of frustrations in the beginning, I think.
But then my nephew and I, we got back on it, and we played the absolute hell out of that game.
Yeah.
What about you? What is your most disappointing game?
You mentioned it, I think, when you were talking about Anthem a little bit, but from what we got from the beta, I was expecting some greatness.
I already know where you're going with this.
But Titanfall.
Yeah.
Man, I remember...
Not to be confused with Titanfall 2, everybody.
Yes,
the first one.
Titanfall 2, they went back and did it right, but the very first Titanfall, we got that beta, and I remember playing that countless hours.
We played it a lot.
Dude, we went through that game, and there was only like 2 maps, I think, when the beta came out. So you're just like, and that was back also when campaigns were like a big thing of
Yeah.
games. So you were like, man, there's gonna be an awesome
Oh, this is
campaign.
gonna be such
This
a
is gonna
fun
be
campaign.
amazing because like the trailers show like a little bit of a story mode to it. So
Yeah.
you're like, oh, dude, this is gonna be sweet. So I mean, if you guys haven't played Titanfall, it's an incredible game, and the beta gave you so much hope for like this incredible new style gameplay that's coming out with these big mech warrior machines, I
Yeah.
guess you could say.
You got the pilots in them,
Yeah, and you
and
could
then you got
jump
the
out of
oh my
it.
lord,
It was
yeah.
so awesome. Like there was so much fun. Like I said, we played it for hours on hours and just had a blast playing that game. And graphically, it was actually
Yeah.
done pretty well
And we
for,
both pre-ordered it after we played the beta.
yep,
Yeah.
for, the beta. And then the game came out, and I'm like, well, I just paid $60 for a beta.
Yeah.
Like, where's all the content? Like, where's
Yeah,
all these
no campaign mode. I think at first it was the same two maps.
yeah, I think there was like 3 or 4 maps, and two
Yeah.
of them were the ones you played in the beta that we played for like 2 months. It felt like,
Yeah, and there were no new game modes at that time at launch. There were no new game modes. So yeah, it was we paid $60 for the beta that we had
yeah,
just
and
been
it was
playing.
so disappointing. So you're just like so much frustration. Like, you get home, you're getting excited, you throw Titanfall on, and you're like, all right, let's start this. Then I'm like straight into the beta map, and I'm like, all right, I'll play this one, and the new one will come on next. Straight into the second beta map, and then you get like one new map, and then you're all excited, and then nothing.
That's it, folks. That's the game. A big thing pops up on the screen. Sorry, that's all we could
Thanks for
do.
joining.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Sucker.
definitely fixed that with Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 is one of my favorite first person shooters. It was a ton of fun, but Titanfall 1 just left
Really dropped the ball.
so much to be desired. Like you just knew, kind of like Anthem, there is so much potential there. You could see the potential in the game, and then it just ended. And it's funny because talking about EA being a killer, a studio killer, Titanfall 2 came out, was, you know, universally loved by the community. That has a player base to this day. So does Titanfall 1 because they did eventually add content to that
Right.
game, but I know with Paul and I both, we were so disappointed on launch. I never got back into Titanfall 1.
No.
Like it hurt me so much in the heart. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. Not
No.
no.
You killed me.
But yeah, and
I'm
then
dead inside.
yeah, and then where I was going with that, Titanfall 3 was rumored. People were all excited. And then all of a sudden, this game called Apex Legends comes out. And you're like, okay, so this takes place in the Titanfall universe, but it's not Titanfall. It's a little more cartoony. It's a battle royale. What is this? What is this? And then they announced that Titanfall 3 is canned. EA killed it.
Just another thing to not look forward to.
EA, if any of you are watching this, you. That was going to be a bleep for sure. Oh, I can't bleep that.
You can't blurt out?
I mean, I'm sure I can. Why are you giving me more stuff to edit?
I'm just seeing what kind of editing skills we can jump to next.
We. He says we.
You know what's funny is, what game I thought you were gonna
For my most disappointing?
yeah. Because I think you were pretty disappointed in it, and I'm sorry that I don't remember the exact name of it, but I remember us kind of being really pumped about this game coming out. But it's a medieval game. I think
For Honor.
yes.
Yeah, For Honor.
Because I remember how disappointed you were with that game. Like, yeah, I remember you played it for a little bit, and then you were like, you know what? The game's like really not exactly what I thought it was. But I remember like the trailers and everything really pumped this game up to be more than what it really was.
So For Honor, speaking of player base, they still have a very like die-hard player
Really?
base. Yeah. Now For Honor, the thing I loved about that game, it's a game, medieval times type thing, Viking, samurai, your knights, and it's, combat, but you have to have skill. You're not just button mashing. Like you need to be able to block this way, block that way, deflect this way.
Deflect down, up, yeah.
There was so much to it, and it's funny because talking about the California people again, because I played the absolute hell out of For Honor with them. They came out with an update that added this. It was a person on the samurai team that had like a staff with like a blade on the tip of it, who could not be beat
because of the
because of the range.
Yeah, the range. Yeah,
you couldn't beat him,
one
and
reason
that's
why
when
I like Donatello.
yeah, Yeah, we went and played that. I don't know if you guys saw on the our Instagram story, but we actually went and played that Ninja Turtles arcade game last Friday night, and
That's
it was a
awesome.
lot of fun. But yeah, this guy,
We
this
beat it with
character,
3 lives.
we did beat it. Yeah,
Three
three
lives.
lives. I think we both had 86 lives, unlimited coins. So we just started pressing
Button
the button.
jamming on that thing.
Yeah, she had so much reach. She was so hard to beat, and myself and my friend T Bone, we were like masters of combat in that game. It was so rare that we lost a battle against anybody that we fought against. And then once they released that chick,
It's
you
like
couldn't do
dead
it.
in the
You couldn't
water.
beat her. And then I didn't want to pick that character because I don't want to be part of the problem. And I guess since then the game got to where it should have been. Kind of like Titanfall. Once I get a sour taste in my mouth about something, it is really hard
Besides
for me.
Battlefield.
Yeah, I don't really have a sour taste about Battlefield. Disappointed, but I still have so much fun. And, unlike Anthem that relied on the content, I mean, for you to get all of the stuff you can unlock in 2042 would take you thousands of hours. So
Yeah.
stop crying and play the damn game.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that'll do it for our most disappointing games. And like I said, Titanfall 2 was phenomenal. So if you go out and try to play
Oh,
it,
you know what else I'm disappointed in?
what?
That you have the same hairline as Vegeta, but you don't spike your hair.
I was gonna go Super Saiyan in the third segment, but thanks for spoiling it.
Nice. Yeah, that'll wrap things up for movies. So we'll see you back with sports. What are we going to talk about? Three, two, one. Welcome to the
MGS podcast. Damn, you paused.
I saw you moving up towards the mic. I knew what you were trying to do.
You sneaky little devil, you.
You mother chucker guy.
You mother trucker.
Welcome back to the MGS podcast, your one-stop shop for movies, games, and sports. We've reached the final segment of our podcast, which is sports. Kick things off, the Lakers did not make the play-in tournament.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah. And now LeBron James is firing their head coach.
And Russ Westbrook is blaming everything on the head coach. So,
Yeah, that's I mean, nobody thought that team's season was going to go the way that it did. I didn't. Like, I guess I didn't think of it being the oldest team in the NBA. Whenever I hear those names, I always consider them in their prime.
right. Yeah, you think about it.
So,
that way.
you're expecting this super team. On paper, they were, but age caught up to them because they're all 100 years old in basketball years, and injuries caught up to them, and they just...
But Anthony Davis is younger, and he's just, I mean, he's not young, but he's just always injured.
Yeah.
I feel like there's just always issues with him.
Well, when you're 7'8", injuries happen quite a bit.
Yeah.
Unless you're Yao Ming.
Yao Ming had a ton of injuries
know.
too. Huge injuries. A lot of foot injuries.
When you're coming down with a 7'3" frame of Yao Ming,
You don't even have
and
to
you
come
hit the
down.
gr-
It's like 2 inches just to put it up there with your arm span. So
That's true.
wingspan.
I'll give you that. But the play-in tournament officially started tonight.
Yeah.
Actually, as we speak right now, the Cavaliers are playing the Nets. The current score is 101 to 109. The Nets are on top. I don't think that would surprise anybody though. The Nets with Kyrie back.
I think he had 20 points in the first half is what I saw. So he's picking up where he left off, and now he's full time, and he's coming back with vengeance.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I saw this ridiculous theory that the Nets were purposely playing bad so that they could get into the play-in tournament and have the lower seed, so they'd have to play more traveling games
to actually have Kyrie
back.
It's an interesting theory.
It's interesting, but
or did the state of New York milk this so that Kyrie Irving would have all that rest throughout the season so that he could come in
Oh,
and be 100% come the
the
playoffs.
Illuminati.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
All on the back of the dollar bill.
Rockefeller.
So I have no doubt that the Nets are gonna finish off the Cavs, and
Yeah. And then,
honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they make it to.
I mean,
They're
if
not
you,
gonna make it to the finals, but
I mean, who knows? I mean, you got Kevin Durant, who's arguably one of the best scorers to ever play the game. And then Kyrie Irving, who's arguably probably one of the best handlers in the game.
we've got
Um,
Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's the
he's a
kindest
monster.
heart in the entire world.
Yeah,
So
he's the man. But you know, if it's crazy, if you look at like the way that the East is set up, and even the West, there's a lot of teams who you'd expect to be on the top who aren't on the top. Actually, go back one. If you actually look at the play-in tournament here, you got the Nets, who I think we all thought would be a top three
top three for sure.
seed.
Yeah,
And if you go over to the West, you got the Clippers, who are also in the play-in tournament,
yeah.
who have Kawhi and have Paul
Paul
George,
George,
who you would think would be a top five seed.
especially the way that Paul George finished off last
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, there's always going to be an argument too that Paul George is not a great, playoff, contender. He always has his struggles. But I thought he played real well last year.
he did. Yeah.
Um, and kind of put that to rest. And a team who's always kind of been in the top six is the Spurs, who are now in the play-in tournament as well. And then the 76ers.
Yeah.
Like, I
You got
mean,
the third place for MVP in Embiid, and
yeah.
they're in the play-in, and they picked up Harden.
And these are all teams that you
So
always are used to seeing on the top. So the nice thing about it is you're seeing a lot of change in the NBA. So you're seeing a lot
yeah,
of new teams that are in the top seed who might make it further in. And there's just so much talent now around the league that you're not just seeing a couple powerhouse teams that are always constantly being like your number one to number three. And you're
well,
seeing
and speaking of
mix
change,
up.
though, on the topic of Harden, Harden was playing for the Nets, and he looked like you, and now he's playing for the 76ers, and he looks like me. What happened?
Wait,
I'm teasing you.
so he was,
He was shorter and more attractive when he played for the Nets.
yeah.
And now he's gotten taller, which, makes him look thinner, but not really, and he's slightly less attractive.
Right.
You're welcome. Yeah, it was a
Thanks. This
compliment.
first compliment I ever got. I didn't even know how to take it. I've been fucking bashed on my entire life with this guy. It's like, why do you even hang around him? He's just always degrading you. I know. It's so sad.
I love you, Paul.
Someone's got to boost his ego. So.
Boost my ego? Yeah, my ego's already big enough. But yeah, I mean, no, I think a lot of the other teams that are in the top three, especially for the East and the West, I think it's teams that everyone thought was going to be there. I don't think though, even though the Suns made it to the finals last year, lost to the Bucks, I don't think anybody expected them to go 64-18 and be the number one seed in the West. I didn't expect that. I knew they were going to be top five because we talked about how Devin Booker watched the Bucks celebrating after losing in the finals, and we talked about him being hungry and wanting to come back, and that whole team being hungry and wanting to come back with vengeance. I still wasn't expecting him to have the best record in the NBA.
Well, look, you get to the best record, but you still got to make it and win a championship.
Yeah.
So you can go in there with all the stats in the season and in the world and say, but you're still going to go up against the best teams and the best players in the league, and you got to put on for a couple more weeks and really show out. So they're not quite there yet, but they definitely have the best record. They're looking great. You know, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting, though, the Grizzlies to be in the top five. I didn't have them in my top five prior to the season starting. Now, that might be me being, maybe not as educated as some people when it comes to the NBA. I do follow the NBA quite a bit, but there's a lot of teams that I don't pay attention to within the league. But I wouldn't have expected the Grizzlies to be in there. Why are you playing with my tablet, dog?
I just wanted to see how cool it was, so I just wanted to touch it.
Oh,
I feel like
okay.
I was important doing something.
Does it have your name on it?
Yes.
No, it doesn't. This is my tablet.
There was a trailer we were watching with Anthem, and it said Paul.
Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Ultra. So much better than the iPad.
But yeah, I mean, there's just so much happening with the NBA, and they obviously were getting ready to go into this tournament, and then the playoffs. So we'll see what kind of dwindles down and who's
Yeah.
going to make it to the championship. But if you were looking at the East, who besides obviously
Bucks.
the Bucks do you think is going to make a good run in this in the NBA Finals?
I mean, I'd like to say the Heat, because I mean the Heat have been fierce competition in the East for a
I like
few
Jimmy
years now.
Butler.
I like Jimmy Butler. One thing I've noticed about that team though is they seem to get frustrated with each other a
Well, there's about
lot.
to be a fight
Y-
like a week and a half ago on the
Almost
bench.
every week there's about to be a fight on the bench. And I just feel like you get into these higher pressure situations, that's not going to get better. It's going to
Well,
get
what
worse.
what I guess threw me off is like your number one and number two because they were going back and forth in the East
Yeah,
for the
and the
last
the top
week.
3 were just jumping all over the
Yeah,
place, yeah.
and it's like you guys are like one of the best teams in the East right now. Why are you guys arguing so
Yeah.
much and fighting? Like, how's there about to be a fist fight on the bench between two of your top players? Like, come on.
Yeah.
So I was a little shocked by that, but yeah, I mean Heat will be a favorite, obviously the number one seed right now in the East. But the team I really kind of want to see make a run for it.
Celtics,
No, the Bulls.
Bulls. Yeah.
I really do. You got DeRozan there, who came. He's kind of been tossed around a little bit
Yeah.
since he left the Raptors, and then went down to the Spurs, and then came back to Chicago this season, and they were like so many highlights in their first like 2 weeks of the season
Yeah.
that they were just doing all these crazy alley oops and these crazy plays. And I really think they're going to make a pretty good run at it here for the playoffs. And I'm actually excited to watch their games. And I do like the Celtics. I do um,
You know,
enjoy watching them play. They're a very young squad too. So
you know what irritates me? So, you've got the Ball brothers, Lonzo and LaMelo, and they've kind of proven their dad right. Their dad talked so much trash for years.
just to get him, well, first off, we all thought the hype was just to get him high in the draft.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I
now
mean,
Lonzo, I won't say as good as his. Wait,
Lonzo is good. He's not as good as LaMelo, though. LaMelo is the younger one.
yeah, that plays for the
Yeah.
Hornets.
Yeah. And
He's a stud.
dude,
I hate looking at him for some reason. I don't know why he just has like a punchable face, but he's got so much ball handle skills, and he's always doing like these crazy things that I'm just like,
I think
God, I hate him, but he's so
I
good,
think his punchable face is because we watched him grow up. With how big social media got, we watched him grow up, and I'm gonna be real with you, LaMelo. You're a piece of shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna take anything away from your ball playing abilities because, like Paul said, you're a stud, but you're an asshole, man. I hate you as a person. You're such a terrible guy. But he's grown up a lot too since
Yeah.
entering the league, so he's not the same, pile of dirt that he was. But he's super fun to watch. Some of these
Dude,
passes he throws are just.
ridiculous.
Like, I feel like I'm watching a freaking Globetrotters game
It
sometimes.
does sometimes seem like. I think even his teammates are like,
Yeah,
"What
like
the heck?"
and I think this is what I like about him as a professional athlete. He goes out there to have fun. And you can see that in him, that he's going out there to have fun. Now, you see the competitive spirit come out sometimes too, but day in and day out, I can't say that there's a single player in the league right now that you can just turn on the TV and they look like they're having as much fun as LaMelo Ball.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Kid's a stud
And it's crazy.
with a
So like when
punchable
he
face.
first came when he first came into the league, and I've heard this from other players who've played overseas, but he played overseas prior to coming
Yeah.
into the NBA and got drafted. But they talk a lot of these guys who play overseas say that it's so much easier to score in the NBA than it is like playing over in these other
Yeah.
leagues. Which I thought was interesting because you got the best players in the world,
In the
but
world, and then when we go to the Olympics and stuff, typically the United States dominates.
right.
Typically, not all the time.
You're right. I mean, 100%. But I think sometimes I think it goes to the way that the games are officiated.
Yeah,
You
you talk
know,
about the flopping, and
right?
because that's one thing that almost killed the U.S. team in the Olympics. In our first couple games, they kept flopping, and the refs weren't calling
Remember
it.
when everybody was like, "Oh my God, the USA is gonna lose," and then they
Yeah,
they
and then
lost the first couple. I
yeah,
think they
I,
were.
I I was on that bandwagon. I thought that the U.S. team was just gonna die.
Yeah,
They were gonna
it
be
did not look good.
flopping out of the water like a fish. But yeah, they turned it around
Yeah,
though.
and I think it just goes to the way that the game's officiated here. as maybe other parts of the world. That makes it a little bit harder to score. You play more aggressive defense
Yeah.
as you opposed to the NBA. But man, I don't know. I don't watch overseas basketball at all. I'm just going off of
Well,
what these guys
I
say.
know
So
there you're allowed to pass the ball to the ref without getting a technical called on you. Because that seems to happen way too much in the NBA. I don't know if these refs are just getting super sensitive because, you know, NBA players are mouthy. Professional athletes are mouthy. We see it in the NFL, you see it in the MLB, you see it in every
overpaid
professional.
clowns.
Yeah, you see it in every professional sport. Like those refs take day in and day out abuse. They get home to death threats where someone is threatening to murder their entire family because of one missed call. So they have to deal with a lot of stuff. But some of these technicals that I've seen called, oh, like who was it? One of the Heat players, I think it was last year, lightly tosses the ball to the ref, lightly underhand tosses the ball. Tech.
Well,
Like
I
what?
think I think it was Pat Beverly. Not that he doesn't deserve all the
Yeah, Pat
technicals,
Beverly should get
but
every
he
tech.
like turned around
If he
like
coughs weird, that's a tech.
he like turned around and like gently like dropped the ball this way and it bounced once and then hit the ref and they teed him up for it. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Are you kidding me? Like what?" And he was so shook. Like I didn't actually do anything this
You know,
time. You know,
I actually like Pat Beverly. Like
you need that
there
asshole
are
on the
you need
team.
the villain. You need the villain, and not just of the team, of the league. And right now, he's the villain
You know who used
of
to
the
be that
league.
guy?
Dennis Rodman.
Well, yeah, if you're going way back,
Yeah,
but Matt Barnes, I felt like
yeah.
used to try to fight with
Ron
everybody.
Artest.
Oh, dude, he went into the stands and knocking
He's
people
like,
out.
he threw a cup of water at me. Well, now I'm gonna kill you. So
I don't want to repeat on here, but Daniel Tosh does one of the funniest skits I've ever heard.
you're gonna have to show me once we
It
get
is
off here
one of
because
the
I don't think I've seen it.
funniest skits I've ever heard about the Ron Artest fight.
Yeah,
It's absolutely fantastic. So
Meta World Peace.
yeah, Meta World Peace.
Meta
Well,
World Peace. That's how you know you were a piece of shit. When you change your name to Meta World Peace.
maybe people forget about me going into the stands and knocking people out. You know.
But yeah, Pat Beverly, like, I remember like there's this game they're playing against the Lakers. In the entire game, he's just staring at LeBron and he's being so obnoxious, purposely obnoxious about it, and just the whole time staring at LeBron. It's like that's
Remember when
comedy gold right
Lance
there.
Stevenson used to like blow in LeBron's face back when the Pacers were
Yeah.
relevant?
And Lance Stevenson, that's another guy. At one point, he was kind of a villain of the league. You always need your villain, but
Yeah.
I think Pat Beverly, out of all of them, is the biggest like piece of shit in real life, though. But
I don't know him.
then
personally,
again,
so.
sometimes if you're just a terrible person, you end up getting signed by the Miami Dolphins to become the highest paid wide receiver in football. Until you punch your wife again and get it all taken away. But who's keeping track?
So stupid. But Western Conference, I know we talked a little bit about the Eastern Conference surprise teams that I think will kind of make a leap. Is I know they're number 2, but the Grizzlies I think are going to make a serious run this year, and I think they're dangerous.
Yeah.
And you can't ever count out your last year MVP with the Nuggets.
Yeah.
I think they'll make a run at it. But it'll be interesting. We got to see how these play-in tournaments play out. Like I said, I mean, you got some good teams that are down there in the play-in tournaments that you can't count out.
Yeah.
That could give a lot of these top seeds a run for their money, especially the Nets, especially the Clippers.
The Spurs, they don't need any more rings, so they can just stay out of it. But honestly, in the West,
is this Pop's last year?
I think so. Yeah,
I think actually
I think it
saw
is.
that he's retiring after this year and he's done hanging up the.
He didn't need it.
The coat, yeah,
he
he's
doesn't
got
need it.
plenty of rings.
He's got plenty. Honestly, if
Have
I
you
had
ever
to,
seen Tony Parker's house in San Antonio, Texas?
is it embarrassing for me as a person?
Dude, it's embarrassing for any living
Yeah.
person. Dude, he has a water park in his backyard. Like I saw this
Yeah.
thing the other day that he was putting
You're
up
talking
for
about
sale.
one of them plastic turtle pools back there.
Dude, I got one of those too.
You want to
bro.
go
I
jump
got
in
an
it?
Elsa one.
First of
in
all,
my
you have an
house.
actual pool, okay?
That too.
Yeah.
But dude,
No,
he
I've
has
never
an
seen it, though.
actual water park. Like you'll have to look it up. They have this YouTube video you can like get it in like a tour
Like a
because
3D.
it's for sale.
Oh, okay.
Dude, it is mind blowing. Like if you want to feel poor, just go watch that video because you're gonna be like, holy cow.
Yeah, dude. I swear to God, every time I drive through like Windermere, Florida, I
was
just
there
feel
the other day.
I just feel like the worst human being. So like to make myself feel better, I'll drive downtown Orlando underneath the 408 and see the homeless people and be like, oh, you peasants.
He's so stupid. That's such an asshole thing to say. They're
But then
probably better.
But then I give them some money. So it's fun.
Yeah, I was
Just
just
kidding.
driving through the other
I don't make
day,
fun of
and it's
homeless
like
people.
the last time I was over there was like,
In Windermere?
yeah, it was like it's been a long time, maybe almost a year. But I remember it was like someone bought this lot of land, and I was like, who the hell be able to put a house there? I drove by there today, and it's a mansion. Like, I mean, this house
Where
has to
at?
be like 6,000 square feet.
Okay.
It's like on I don't even want to say, I don't know the name of the road, but it's
Main Street? Like right off of Main
no,
Street
you
where
know
the
where the
roundabouts are?
school is and all the roundabouts and
Yeah.
everything? Like if you
Yeah.
take a right there, if you're going down Main Street, take a right, and it's back down that way closer to the softball fields and everything.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like right on one of those corners. I'm like, dude, how are they gonna fit a house there? And then this thing is massive.
You know, one of my
There's
favorite
probably a basement in
stories
there.
about
Not even
Windermere,
legal, but
maybe. One of my favorite stories about Windermere actually has to do with the NBA and sports in general. Because I was fishing. That's a sport. I was fishing in Shaquille O'Neal's backyard in the Lake Butler chain of
yeah, yeah.
lakes and caught a
I've
nice
been over there
bass.
many times.
I can honestly say that I've caught a bass in Shaq's backyard
Nice.
when he still owned the house. Like he has a
Yeah, I think he
Superman
sold it now,
statue.
right?
Yeah, he sold it for like $23 million.
It's crazy.
I considered buying it. Like
I talked you out of that
I
one.
was in the market, and I'm like, gosh, do I need 7 bathrooms?
No, we need 6.
No, one.
Yeah, that house is absolutely massive.
Yeah,
But
if I had to get back on topic here, if I had to pick a team in the West, I would honestly say the Suns. I think
they're out
they've
for
worked
vengeance.
so
Yeah.
hard. Chris Paul, he's everyone has that list of vets who they want to win a ring. Chris Paul deserves a ring. That being said, if they happen to face the Bucks
Nobody
in the
deserves a
finals
ring.
again,
You got to earn it.
yeah, I'm all in for the Bucks taking on the Suns again and beating them.
There's not many times
Back to
that
back.
there's not many times that I would like that I'm happy about seeing the same teams. I got tired of seeing the Warriors in it over and over.
The Warriors and the
The Cavs,
Cavaliers,
and it's like that.
the Spurs, the Heat.
Right. It just always seemed like the same teams. It was nice when you saw Dallas win it. You get a couple of those teams that come up and make a run and win
Yeah.
it. But that's actually one game I wouldn't mind seeing like a rematch. I thought it was
The
pretty
Bucks
evenly
versus
matched last
the
year.
Suns, yeah.
Obviously the Bucks ended up taking it.
I mean,
but
Giannis went off in the finals
he's a
last year,
monster,
so
dude. He really is.
yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I'm excited to watch these playoffs. I'll definitely be watching them. Again, the play-in started tonight. The Cavs game is over now. The Nets took that game, and then I believe it's the Clippers and is it the Clippers and
That's just making me go back
Spurs?
to it.
No, Timberwolves. Clippers and Timberwolves will play tonight.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that game just started as well. So we'll see what happens there. Next week we'll have a whole different type of bracket, getting ready for the playoffs to start.
Yeah.
And we're excited to watch these go through.
Well, then Paul doesn't know this yet, but we're gonna throw a NBA Finals party for the finals. It's just gonna be Paul and I though. You guys aren't invited.
We'll do a Facebook Live.
It's just gonna be us. No, we're probably not gonna do that either. I just want to let you know that we're having a party and you're not invited. So there's
Just gonna
that.
camp out for all 7 games
Yeah.
in my backyard.
Yeah, you can't. We're not allowed to leave
Okay, I like it.
until the Bucks have that ring. Ring numero dos.
Numero dos.
I'll take it.
Numero 2.
Yeah, dude. You have to be a war hero to understand what I just said. So shut your mouth.
I hate you. You hate me.
So, on that note, I think that wraps it up for today's podcast.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming to hang out. Just remember to share, like, and subscribe. We'll keep
you gotta
bringing
do
you
like one of the dances that the YouTube people like. Oh, wait, no, it's you. Like, subscribe, like, subscribe, like, subscribe.
I like how you just correlated me with like a famous YouTube person doing that.
I can't hold it up that much
I
longer.
was like, is it getting heavy?
Yeah, it's got really heavy. I'm out of shape. I'm a fat pilot. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. I almost said have a good night. I almost did it again.
I know, and I'm pissed off that you do that because it's daytime out right now.
It's definitely nighttime. We'll see you guys next week.
Take
Have a
care.
good one. Bye.
I'm gonna like make a bet. We're gonna make a bet, and I'm gonna like cut my hair off. Only way I'm gonna do it.
You want to do it? Do it.
But it took so long to grow it out, so I'm like, oh, one.
I kind of feel like you want to do it.
Part of me does. Part of me misses short hair.
I don't even feel like doing anything with my hair. That's why I'm wearing my hat, dog. Oh my god, I look like my brother right there.
Yes, you do. Holy cow.
You know, just a foot taller.